What is up, lore sages? Welcome to Lore Academia, Moonshae Isles stream. DMPaulG, or Paul Gabbett. Welcome. And yeah, basically I just got home like 45 minutes ago. Yes, I just went to that place. I went to Tagaytay. No bulalo. Bulalo is like a Filipino soup dish. With like beef and bone marrow and what else do they have there? I don't know. That's it. That's all. That's all. Pepper. that's, that's it. I don't know. I don't know how to make bulalo. So yeah. Uh, welcome. So what are we doing here? Yep, I'm just telling everyone that I just went to that place, the one that you're seeing on screen right now, in Tagaytay, and it was cloudy. It was actually raining a little bit, and I took a photo. And it reminded me like the Moonshae Isles, right? Feels like reminds me a bit of what we read yesterday at the High Rock, like on top of a mountain, and then you travel down here, like in the middle, and you see like the port town or the docks, right? And so I took a photo, and yeah, it looks nice. So I'm sharing it with everyone. So anyway, welcome everyone to Lore Academia Moonshae Isles stream, where we read Moonshae Isles documents adventures. For now, we'll be reading adventures and extract as much lore from it as possible. All right. So right now we'll be reading the CCC BMG MOON1-5 adventure, and that is the last one in the Moon 1 series of the Rising Shadows storyline. And hopefully we'll finally get a chance to read the conclusion part of it. So I'm excited for that. I just got home like 45 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago, but I want to do a stream because again, this is like kind of my zen area. It's peaceful here, talking to chat, reading adventures, just talking nonsense stuff, and yeah. So I wanted this, and also I want to finish the Moon 1-5 series. That's why. Then we can move on to the next series or trilogy. So there. What are we supposed to do? Yeah. Before we start, there are some new changes because a lot of the sages in chat has been telling me that I should use something else other than Notepad, right? That it's too old school. It's not as efficient as I want it to be. Sometimes Control F doesn't work. Sometimes and also there's a difficulty of scrolling up and down trying to find whatever I want to find. And Chaos Hammer is kind enough to recommend a notepad-like tool in our Discord. So if you're not part of Discord yet, actually let me just put the whole socials here, so you know where to follow me and everything. Twitter, YouTube, Discord, all the stuff. It's right there. Anyway, Chaos Hammer recommended a new notepad-like tool, which is, I think this is more for programming, but I saw how cool it is and tried to play with it a little bit. Tried to do a little coding with the preference, and I was able to make this. As you can see now below me, below this red area right here. Look at that. It looks so fancy. It's called Sublime Text. That's the name of the software. Let me see if I can get that. It's free, from what I know. It's free. Let me send the link. There you go. There. You can get it there. And look at that. It has like the file folders and everything. I haven't imported the old notes that we have, so I'm gonna do that. But now every time, every stream, we're gonna add like a new note here, make things easier for us, and yeah, it's just so fancy, and I feel like we got an upgrade in our stream. So thank you, Chaos Hammer, for that. Um, and we're gonna basically try it out, see if it's really something that we can easily use in our stream. And we're gonna start it with Moon1-5, right there. That's one of the changes we have, one of the upgrades we got in our stream. Another thing is that we have, if you know that I write, or probably you don't, I write a lot of adventures, and most of the adventures that I write are for Adventures League, which is the 5th edition organized play system, like the official organized play system for D&D 5th edition. And a while ago, they just released new rules, which are can be found in this link right here that I'm sending. But basically, the updates that we got here, we got a new player's guide update, which involves like rules for different campaign settings, like character creation and stuff. And what I'm really interested here, or the update, or the new update. No, that's wrong. The update that I'm interested in is actually the dungeon craft part, because now we can create dungeon craft or community created adventures for Eberron setting and Ravenloft. That's right. So before, we can only, like yesterday, we can only create dungeon craft adventures, or the community can only create AL legal adventures for the Forgotten Realms setting, Spelljammers more specifically. But now we can create dungeon craft adventures for Eberron and Ravenloft. So if you're a fan of Eberron, if you like to make adventures set in the Ravenloft campaign, and those the domains that are there, this is the perfect opportunity to do that. So everything that has happened is basically in that link that I sent. But if you want to actually get the documents, you have to join the D&D Discord server, and then that's where you can find the documents that you need for like the player's guide, the dungeon master's guide, and all the new dungeon craft rules for Eberron and Ravenloft. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Here there was this like a dark thoughts in my head, that it's thinking like AL has been abandoned by Wizards of the Coast. Like we're kind of like Moray. Nobody cares about AL anymore, right? But seeing this update, giving the community more freedom to create our own adventures set in settings that we or like, that's a great thing. So that means more content will be made, more writers hopefully will show up, and more stories will become available for us AL or Adventures League players. So this is great news for everyone. So if you want to get the documents for it, again, you have to join the D&D Discord server. That's the only link that I don't have. And I don't think, is it here in the website? I hope it's in the website that I sent. I'm looking. I don't see it. There's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and email. But I don't see the link to the D&D Discord server. So you might need to do a little bit of Googling to find that. But cool stuff, right? So once we're done with the Moonshae Isles, once we are like master lore sages of the Moonshae Isles, we can jump into another setting or another location, either in the Forgotten Realms, Spelljammers, Eberron. We could talk about how the creation of the world of Eberron, right? Like the three dragons. Or we can go with Ravenloft and the different domains of Dread that we can go to. And I know next year, it's also posted in the website, like the update, we'll be having the ability to create adventures, or the community will have the ability to create dungeon craft adventures for Dragonland. So in the world of Krynn, we can create our stories as well. So if you're a fan of Dragonlance, that'll be cool. And since I mostly played, like 98% of my games are in 5th edition, the only setting I know really is the Forgotten Realms. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to jump in and try to learn more about Dragonlance, Eberron, and other stuff, right? So in the future, so we have tons of content. If I don't, for some reason, I don't get lazy or don't quit the stream thing that I'm doing now, then we have a lot of content in the next few months, even years, right? So there, future is good. So hello everyone that's here, welcome. Again, this is Lore Academia, Moonshae Isles edition, I would say. So we're here, we're gonna read Rising Shadow Adventures. This is basically a group of adventures, a lot of adventures, like 50 to 60 adventures, 60 plus adventures, set in the Moonshae Isles, all made under the leadership of Eric Mengi, the previous storyline coordinator for the Moonshae Isles. And now we're gonna read all of that and try to learn what happened there, because that's the last thing that happened in the Moonshae Isles. And then from there, me and Savannah Houston McIntyre, the new storyline coordinators for the Moonshae Isles under Ballman Games, will continue from that. All right, so we already have the next storyline, which is Moonshae Isles Malefic Delusions. And those adventures, 7 of those adventures, 6 level 5 to 10 adventures, and 1 epic adventure will premiere in Winter Fantasy next year. So if you're in the US, you're available on February 1st to 5th, and you can attend Winter Fantasy. Go ahead and do that. Play the Moonshae Isles Adventures, and hope you enjoy them. Channel emotes where? We're not really, what do you call that? Twitch affiliate, I think. So I don't think I have the option to make emotes yet. But I'm surprised because I look at my channel and we have like 25 followers already. Like we only started this like this is our 3rd week, I think. We have 25 followers, 25 people following me read adventures. How crazy is that? I mean, we're just here reading adventures and we have 25 people following. So I think we need 50 followers to get affiliate. I'm not sure. I need to remember. The lure of the lore is real. Yeah. 25 follower raffle. We don't, no raffle yet. Okay. I forgot to ask Ballman Games if I can have something that can be raffled. But if you want raffle, if you want to win something, where is that? There we have Ballman Games have a stream happening. I'm trying to find it. I know it's time zones are kind of messing things up. I know it's today. Today is already Tuesday in the US. So I know it's where is that announcement? It's here somewhere. I'm gonna find it in our Discord server. It's gonna happen on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. The 3rd episode of Moonshae Isles Castle of Skulls. I'm the dungeon master there, wearing the same hooded robe for those episodes. You have to guess like how many days since I last watched this thing. But yeah, uh, our third episode is coming tonight for our Eastern viewers. And then that's Wednesday morning for us here in the Philippines, like 9 a.m., I think. Yeah. So watch that. It's super, super fun. Third episode. And I know Ginny's the one kind of the executive producer for that. And then together with Ted and Spencer, they love to give raffle. They love to give prizes and stuff. So watch that. I'm sure you'll get something. I hope. No promises. There. Anyway, that's it. Let's go and finish the Moon 1 series of the Rising Shadows. Okay. Let me pull up our adventure. And where is that? There we go. Here. Oh, I forgot to open our map. Our map. Just in case we need to use it. I know we're going to use it. So let me open it with our super fancy paint software. Because that's, again, I'm just trying to use the most basic stuff. That's it. Okay, we're ready. We're good. This is the last adventure for the Moon 1 series. So these the Moon 1 series are basically intro adventures. So if you're a new player or you want to jump in to like the Moonshae Isles series, these are usually the ones that are being offered to run, and that way you can easily understand or get into the Moonshae Isles and join like the overarching story that's happening in all these adventures. Mods, when I'm slowly learning. All right, I think hopefully by next week I'll ask a couple of people who can do mods, those that have perfect attendance, right? If they want to mod here. I don't really know what you're going to mod. There's like, we only have like 4 people watching every night. Sometimes 8 on a good day, right? But yeah, I can see that once or twice we got some rogue bots coming in, doing some nasty stuff. So yeah, we might need some bots. Yeah. We'll just block the spammer that comes once. Yeah. You'll be like the city watch, basically. Okay, let's finish this. So, or let's start. CCC or community content, community created content. BMG, Ballman Games, Moon1-5, The Wilderness Calls. So, what's the blurb here? When delivering a message to the Fae, having a map and permission helps. Oh, we're dealing with the Fae now, finally. But be ready for the unexpected, even more so in the current troubled times. Things tend to be what you believe them to be when dealing with the Fae. Things tend to be what you believe them to be when dealing with the Fae. All right, we'll take note of that. So this is a 2-hour adventure for tier 1 characters. That means it's for level 1 to 4 characters and optimized for average party level of 3. And I already took the name of the author here, Ayanna Jones-Lightsy. So let's see how awesome this adventure will be. Okay. So again, these adventures are usually written for Adventures League, but you are free to use these adventures as like homebrew content. And that's what I've been saying. These adventures are not just for Adventures League. There's so many good stories created under Adventures League. And a lot of people haven't discovered them because they think that, there's an AL tag on it. That means I can't use it for homebrew, or it's probably not compatible for homebrew material because it's for Adventurers League, right? But no, join me in one of these streams. Let's read through it, and I know you can easily apply it to your homebrew campaign, like either as a side quest or as a new homebrew campaign. Possibilities are endless. It's D&D, So anyway, let's start. We're here to extract as much lore as possible from these documents, from these adventures. So we're not gonna focus a lot on design, combat, typos, and everything. But knowing me, we're gonna talk about when we see something, when we notice something. I'm gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna do my best to not stay on it for like the longest time and focus on learning the story and the lore instead. Okay? And that's what we've been trying for the past couple of weeks. So, okay. Anyway, since this is the last time that we're gonna read this copy paste background and call to action, might as well read it, right? So the fabled Moonshae Isles are plagued by the forces of darkness and shadow. The Slain, who I think is the main villain here in Rising Shadows, and her slain sworn have conquered the Isle of Alaron, capturing Derrid Kendrick, which is the High King of the Moonshaes, and forcing the royal court in exile to the Isle of Moray. I need you all to think like Game of Thrones. There's going to be like House Kendrick, House Rhys, and other people in power. That's how we're gonna approach this, basically. And forcing the royal court in exile to the Isle of Moray. But all is not lost. The goodly people of the Moonshaes held a grand conclave, have a gathering, in Caer Moray, to unite against the Slain, driven by the prophecy of Rising Shadows that the Fae of Sarafal have aligned with the folk and the Northlanders, forming the Bright Alliance to counter the forces of the Shadowfell. All right. High Queen Kefrey Kendrick, the High Queen, and basically the husband, the wife of Derrid Kendrick, has prepared messages for important personages of the Moonshaes, informing them of the Bright Alliance. But the spies of the Slain Sworn are everywhere, and even magical means of messaging are suspect. She has turned to Theatric Glittergold of the Moonshae Trade League to distribute the missives. And one of the recipients of this is Aislinn Seaward, right? What's a Slain Sworn? We don't know. I'm under the assumption that that's the group of people that follow the Slain, but we're not there yet. We don't have any info about them. Yeah. Sworn to the Slain, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So Aislinn Seaward, I'm assuming that probably is not right, but we're gonna check it later. The leader of the Kendrick Loyalists. So this is the final faction. We figured out yesterday that each of these intro adventures from MOON-1-2 to MOON-1-5 are basically High Queen Kefrey sending letters to different faction members, or to different members, or different factions. And from 1-2, we got Flamstirred, which is like the initiate of flames. And then 1-3, it was, now we don't have our notes, so now we're doomed, right? So let me open that. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Moon1-3 is with Winnow Rustfire, who is a follower of. Man, we lost it. We're not good note takers. So I guess one thing we need to do is open the adventures. Moon1-3 is for Wardens of the Deep Shays, right? And then Moon1-4, Bravest West Brazel is for who did we send the letter to? We sent it to Shiaz, who is a member of the Earth Mother Defender faction, and now we're sending it to Iceland. Seaward, member of the a Kendrick loyalist. Okay, so these are the people that are loyal to House Kendrick, meaning the High Queen and the High King and everybody else in that family. Okay, and so we have that here, Kendrick loyalists. And okay, so Kefre sent her to Gwyneth to ensure communication between herself and her daughter, Princess Tarlyn Kendrick. Okay, now we're getting more people here. All right, Tarlyn. Oops, another Kendrick royalty. So she's a princess, obviously. And yeah, it says there. Princess and daughter of what's the name of the High King? Dared. There you go. Dared and Kefre. A princess and daughter of Dared and Kefre. Okay, so we have those two. And was currently representing her house interests in the Eladrin realm of Sarifal on the Isle of Gwyneth. Okay, so I think our location, if I'm right, is in Gwyneth. Meanwhile, Iceland has run afoul of Teak, an overly zealous sprite who seeks to protect Sarifal from invaders. Is she the leader? Did it say that Iceland is the leader? I'm not sure that she. Oh yeah, it says there. Duh. Good catch. Good catch. That's why I love doing this while on stream, because you see things that I don't. Okay. Leader of the Kendrick loyalists. And okay. So this is gonna be a 2-hour adventure that we're gonna play, or we're not gonna play. We're gonna read, and yeah, the folk has been loyal to they see the Kendrick as the family. These are like the rulers of the Moonshae, all right. Ever since, like in the trilogy books. It's Tristan Kendrick that kind of did some heroic deeds that we're not going to discuss yet. But one of the things that he did is he tried to find like common ground between the folk and the Northlanders, kind of making them like as united. But it's actually Tristan Kendrick's daughter, Alicia Kendrick, who kind of sealed that and united the people of the Moonshaes. And that's where United Moonshae Isles kind of was formed. And Darid Kendrick, the current High King, is the son of Alicia Kendrick. there. So there's a lot of history in with House Kendrick, and the folk, when you say Kendrick, they know that name right away. But they don't have any control, or they don't rule the Isle of Gwyneth, because the kingdom of Seraphil, the kingdom of the Fae, is there. And they have basically removed whatever power they have there. And we're going to read more about it, hopefully. Maybe with the slain changes coming. Oh boy. We'll see. We'll see. There's definitely going to be changes. We'll see what kind of changes will happen. So this starts with a call to action. Theatric Glitter Gold hires a party. It's going to be our copy-paste call to action that we've seen in the last 3 adventures. And then into the Shrouded Lands, the adventurers must learn Iceland's location in the Shrouded Lands of Gwyneth. That's where we're going. Oh, thank you for the follow, Gregor's Band. Hello. Welcome to the stream. If you're interested about learning more about the Moonshae Isles, the lore, feel free to stay. If you just need some background noise, I don't care. Well, feel free to use this stream as that. All right. Welcome to the Circle of Sages. Yes. Part 1, Into the Shrouded Lands. We have that. And then Part 2, A Very Noble Sprite. We must rescue Iceland seaward from the vigilant sprites and deliver their message. Okay. And as I was saying, for if you're playing this as a homebrew adventure, or if it's part of Adventures League and you're basically getting adventures to the Moonshae Isles, there are adventure hooks for the dungeon masters to make that transition easier. And these are those adventure hooks. So one is that the Moonshae Isles are basically a diverse archipelago with a spectrum of interesting creatures, both Fae and non-Fae. So explorers are welcome here, or explorers welcome the opportunity to increase their knowledge of this foreign place. Because again, the Moonshae Isles is kind of like away from the main continent of Faerun, where the Sword Coast is at. Everything in 5th edition Forgotten Realms basically happen in the Sword Coast, right? And there's a meme about it, like Sword Coast and then Forgotten Realms, quote unquote, because nobody cares about them anymore. But we do, especially the Moonshae Isles. Another hook that we can use is the characters that are seeking fame and favor are interested in garnering the gratitude of the most powerful humans in the Moonshae. And then Fire in the Blood. Any character with a mark by the beast background or with a strong fighting spirit cannot resist the opportunity to test their strength against the creatures in the shrouded lands of the Isle of Gwyneth. Ooh. Okay. Let's dig into it. Adventure flowchart. So basically the flow of the adventure is shown here. Very basic, very straightforward. As a dungeon master, if you're trying to figure out how you're supposed to run this is it. You just follow the flowchart. You run the call to action, you run part 1, and then you run part 2, and that's it. It's as easy as that. And yeah, so let's begin. Before we as part of the CCC program, before it became Dungeon Craft, which is basically the program for Adventures League that lets the community create adventures for organized play. The old template always have a flowchart. So if it's like a 4-hour adventure, you will see like you run call to action part 1, and then there's like a bonus objective that's connected to part 1 if you want to, that leads to part 3, Or if you don't want to run bonus objective A, you go to part 2 and then part 3. And after part 3, if you have more time, there's bonus objective B. That's usually the format that they have there. So this page is fun to have. But here, since it's just a 2-hour adventure, you can see it's very straightforward, right? Anyway, call to action, a royal request. So we're going to read this because it's the last time we're going to read this copy-paste call to action. The characters meet with Moonshae Trade League representative, Theadric Glitter Gold, which we found out that Glitter Gold is the name of a gnomish deity. So does that mean he's related to the god, gnome god, Glitter Gold, or is he just kind of grabbing the name, and is he committing blasphemy? What's going on here? We don't know. And it tells us that this is a shared call to action for the Moon1-2 to Moon1-4 and Moon1-5, which we've been saying a couple of times already. And this starts in Caer Caladir in Shadow. The city of Caer Moray serves as a temporary headquarters for both the Moonshae Trade League and the Royal House of Kendrick. Again, because the Slain took over the Isle of Alaron, they've been exiled and there's nowhere else to go but in the Isle of Moray. So let's show the map so everybody knows where we're at. There we go. And then zoom out. So this is the Isle of Alaron. We're the seat of power where the High King is at Caer Caladir. However, the Slain has conquered the whole Isle of Alaron, right? And kind of took the High King captive. So I'm assuming they're here in Caer Caladir because that's the best place to be, right? And then everybody else in House Kendrick and the other royals are kind of exiled down here to the Isle of Moray, west. And west of the Moonshae Isles. And our adventure starts here in Caer Moray. And according to the background, we're gonna go to the Isle of Gwyneth, which is right here. That is under the rule or under the kingdom of Sarifal, the Fae kingdom. So it's like the Fae creatures kind of rule over this whole island right here. And that's what the adventure is all about. So we're gonna go from Caer Moray to the Isle of Gwyneth. That's supposed to be our adventure path. Okay. And I'm just assuming all of that stuff based on what we read so far. So I hope I'm right. Anyway, going back. Setting information, we have the maps, call to action. Theatric Glitter Gold hires the party to hand deliver a message to Iceland Seaward on the Isle of Gwyneth. And actually, let's go down and try to find how to pronounce her name. There we go. Yeah, so Iceland Seward. Oh, there we go. Not Seaward. Seward. All right. Iceland Seward. Got it. See? Having a pronunciation guide kind of helps. Especially for people like me who has a hard time pronouncing names and things with complicated spelling. Okay, where are we? Call to action. We're in call to action. So scene A, we are basically summoned by Theatric Glitter Gold, and we are individually invited to a meeting Um, that feeling when the pronunciation guy doesn't tell you how to pronounce eyes or Sue. Yeah, but you know, they at least they tried. I appreciate the effort. Okay, it's not perfect. But I appreciate the effort. Okay. Um, so each of us is individually invited to a meeting with the Trade League ambassador. The invitation is very fancy, written on good paper with precise handwriting, featuring lots of swirling swooshes and signed and sealed by Theodric Glittergold himself. We meet at the front door of the Trade League Embassy, which is a stately building featuring an imposingly large door and impeccably clean windows. The door features two knockers, a plain brass one at human eye level, and an intricately sculpted representation of a gold nugget at about 3 feet height. If required, the characters, we could give the characters a moment to introduce themselves, and then once they knock, they are welcomed by a gnome dressed in formal livery of the Trade League and led into the meeting room. And the meeting room is dominated by a huge table with 8 chairs on either side. At the end of the table stands a chair resembling a throne. In the chair, seated on a large velvet cushion, sits a well-groomed gnome dressed in an expensive looking outfit of several clashing colors. The gnome motions for you to take one of the seats at the table. Sit, sit. My name is Theodric Glittergold. Yes, the Glittergold. Or maybe this is the deity. And I have a business proposition. Maybe Theatric is a deity, like the gnomish deity taking the form of a mortal gnome or disguised as a mortal gnome, right? Or a regular gnome. Interesting. That's okay. I'll try to keep that in mind. Actually, you know what? Let's not keep that in mind because knowing my memory, I cannot trust it. So let's put it here. Theatric Glitter Gold. Where's that? Where's the dash? Is he the gnome deity? What's the name of this Glitter Gold deity? There's a full name for that. Glitter Gold Garl. There you go. Garl Glitter Gold in mortal disguise. Right? He's related. How can I feel like a chair resembling a throne is literally just a throne. Or is he just related to the deity? So there. So those are our questions, right? That we can expand more in future storylines if it's not revealed here. So we have that. And Theatric, let's see. A rock gnome merchant, the ambassador of the Moonshae Trade League, Theatric is a little pompous, tends to overstate his own importance, and is prone to long and winding sidetracks in his conversation. Theatric wants to hire the characters to deliver a packet of messages to Iceland Seward, a paladin of Seamorph, and the leader of the Kendrick loyalists. I remember that the High Queen, Kefre Kendrick, is also a paladin of Xenomorph. So that's interesting. So is it because they're loyal to the Kendricks that they kind of follow the same deity, right? Again, the folk, majority of the folk worships the land of the Moonshae Isles, worships the Earth Mother, and there are a few, of course, that worships other gods, other deities, and this is an example of that. So let's add that, a paladin of Xenomorph. And for those who don't know, like me, who has already forgotten, I'm sure I googled this like a lot of times already. Xenomorph is the wait, where is it? Was a demi power of nobles and nobles' divine right to rule. What? Okay. She's the vessel of a semi-divine power that was passed down to a successor when the successor was dying. Okay. So these are like a royal deity. Is that what it is? Like a deity for royals? And the fate argued that nobles were given a divine right to rule, provided they ruled responsibly and well. The nobility had an obligation to rule with the best interest in their subjects in mind, and this is basically, Xenomorph kind of represents that. Okay. And so we have that. And continuing on, what do they know? Theodric shares his information of the current situation, but always puts a positive spin on things. He doesn't want to scare the characters off or create any possible political problems. So he tells us that the Lachey founded the Fey realm of Sarifal and built the beautiful city of Carador on the Isle of Gwenet. Okay, we know that. This is, at least I know that. Centuries later, they retreated to the Feywild, and Carador sank back into the waves of the Murloc. And about 100 years ago, very recent, the Fey returned to Gwenet, and Carador, or recent for like elf terms, or elf years. The Fey returned to Gwenet, and Carador once again rose from the depths of the lake. At the time, Gwenet has inhabited by the human folk who had united under House Kendrick. Most refused to swear fealty to the Lachey, and war ensued. The folk were subsequently defeated and expelled from Gwenet. This is basically what happened. The eldest daughter of High Queen Kefre and High King Derid is Tarlin Kendrick, who is currently representing their interests at the court in Carador, but other humans are unwelcome on the island. Okay. When we were reading 4th edition Living Forgotten Realms Moonshae Adventures, we learned also about Owain Kendrick, which is the son of Queen Kefre and High King Derid, who got abducted or kidnapped by the Viceroy of Westfall in Snowdown, Lady Erliza Darrison. So we now know 2 children of High Queen Kefre and High King Derid. So we have Tarlin and Owain Kendrick. And where was I? Okay. The eldest daughter, Tarlin Kendrick, was currently representing their interests at the court in Carador, but other humans are unwelcome on the island. Okay? Can't go there. Same in 4th edition so far. A group of humans known as the Kendrick Loyalists support High King Derid, believing that the Moonshaes will be stronger under a united ruler. Kendrick loyalists are led by Iceland Seward, a paladin of the Earth Mother. Alright. Hello, hello. Is this a typo? Earth Mother and Xenomorph are totally different deities. So, did I read that wrong? Iceland Seward, a paladin of Xenomorph. Oh boy. I'm okay with typos. Like, I'm used to it, but these kind of typos, if it is a typo, is kind of bad because, again, we can't confirm which is which, right? Okay, I'm assuming that's a typo. That she's not a paladin of the Earth Mother. She's a paladin of Xenomorph. Okay. Divine right to rule. Right, so she's not the Earth Mother. Yeah. She's not the Earth Mother. Okay. Kefrey sent Iceland to Gwyneth to ensure communication between herself and her daughter. And with the current situation in the Moonshaes, magical means of communication have become unreliable. A more traditional means of messaging is more secure. If needed, Theatric makes some comments that should convince the characters that their backgrounds have been checked. He remains silent on how he did so. And while Theatric relishes in a little haggling, we can get 40 gold pieces each upon completion of this task. And Theatric is also willing to secure transportation and provide supplies for our trip. And if we accept the mission, we receive a sealed letter. And if we want to open that letter, we can read the appendix. Okay. He also gives us information on where to find Iceland. And so, okay, so we need to read 3A, 3B. And Tiandra gives the party a writ from Lady Siofra of the Lachey that will grant them permission to be in Sarafel. They'll need to fill it out and keep it in their possession all times. 3C. Alright, I don't know who Siofra is, so we're gonna put that there. Where's my notes? Lady Siofra the Lachey. So I'm gonna put it here. Lachey were basically members of the or rulers of the kingdom of Sarafel. Okay. And should any of the characters ever wish to break the seal, then we can read Appendix 3D. Okay. And then Theatric directs us to the docks in Kaer Morhen, where we can find a ship named the Shantu, captained by Poppy Logan, and already arranged everything for us. Okay. Okay. Oops. What did I do? I did something. So let's go to Appendix 3A to 3D, because all the good stuff are there. So these are the maps. We're not going to read that stuff. 3A is the letter. I'm going to break the seal. Open the envelope. Read the letter because we're bad adventurers. And it says, oh, this is not from the like the office of Earl Orwin Riss anymore. This is coming from the from address is the Trade League offices, Kaer Morhen on the Isle of Moray. Brave heroes of the Moonshaes. Probably need to zoom in more. It's hard to read. There you go. Your mission is to deliver the sealed message to the faithful paladin Iceland Seward. Her base is located somewhere in the shrouded lands of the Isle of Gwynedd. I have been informed that she is constantly moving her camp. In order to find her, you may ask one of the following 3 people who live near the ruined hamlet of Elysir. Theatric, Glitter Gold, Moonshae Trade League. Okay. So that's the letter. So the places that we're gonna go to are the shrouded lands, and then the ruined hamlet of Elysir. Double S, double R. Okay. And then 3C document. Let me zoom out. Uh, 3B. Yeah, right. 3B. Wow. I think they forgot to change the appendix letter here. So I think this is the one that we need. This is the letter of Lady Siofra of the Lachey, supposedly. To the Fae and Fair reader of this letter, please be advised that the following individuals are present within the fairy realm of Sarafal at my sufferance, and I bequeath. How do you say that? I'm telling you.
Bequeath.
Yeah. I cannot do the TH. Bequeath is the best thing I can do. And I bequeath unto them my protection. I leave unto them my protection. Okay. Please extend unto them every courtesy that you would extend unto me. And then we can fill out the names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 adventures. If there's more than 6, good luck to that other adventure. Like to those beyond the first 6. Lady Siofra of the Lachey of Sarafal. Grand niece of High Lady Ordulf. Okay. That's good information. Where's the NPC information? The grand niece of High Lady Ordulf. High Lady Ordulf is the ruler of the kingdom of Sarafal that is in the Isle of Gwynedd. Like the fake kingdom of Gwynedd, High Lady Ordulf is the ruler, which is also a Lachey. Yeah. Oh man, don't make me think. Grand niece. So High Lady Ordulf is her grandmother's sister. Niece. I'm your niece. So, yep, I'll be a relative, but it's a grandniece. I'll leave it up to you guys. I don't have the energy. Oh, sorry. I don't have the brain cells to figure it out, but I think you're right. If the grandmother's sister who is... I'll leave it up to you, fellow sages, because we need to conserve brain cells here for other stuff. Okay, but that's what we got so far. And then we get into part 1. Into the Shrouded Lands. So Theatric Glitter Gold arranges for the characters to travel by ship. Oops, let me fix our view. By ship to the ruined harbor village of Elysir. So Elysir is a harbor village. Ruined harbor village. To the southern shore of Gwyneth, and the characters must decide which person they wish to find in Appendix 3B. Did we see that? Pick the scene based on their choice. I'm going to go back to the letter. There are no names. Oh, there are names. Duh, I'm so stupid. Yeah. Here. What are the names? Herbalon, a Firbolg druid, lives in a log cabin in the north of Elysir. We should probably write this. Herbalon, a Firbolg druid, and a Kendrick loyalist contact in Elysir. Alice Tenasar, half-elven scout, lives in a cottage to the west of Elysir. Alright. Okay, copy paste. Okay, good job. I should do that. And then Emeranta was a dryad. All right, that's a lot of NPCs already. So we have to choose which one of these will be our contacts. But since we're reading the adventure, we're going to go through all of them. The sealed message is of great importance for the safety of every living creature in the Moonshae Isles. I trust that you will do your best to deliver it safely to Iceland's hands. Okay. So let's go back to part 1. As we try to pick who's our first contact. So we go with scene A for Herbalon, scene B for Alice, and then scene C for Emeranta. And if time is short, drop one or more of the scenes in this part and have the NPC at one of the remaining locations give direction to where Iceland is located. Okay, so we're trying to find Iceland because we don't know where she is, but she's in Gwyneth. And let's look at the map again so that we know. Oops, what the heck did I do? So that we know what is going on. If I can figure out how to zoom again. There we go. There we go. Sirefall. Elysir is somewhere south, right? A ruined harbor village. We need to find. Oof, where's this? Castle of Skulls. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Twitch TV/Ballman Games. Ballman_games. And then where is Elysir? Oh, here. I see it. Right there. So it's at Corwell Firth. There we go. Is there a skull throne? Only one way to find out. Watch the stream watch all of the episodes and you'll see if there is a skull throne. But this is where we at. This is in ruins, basically. And this is where we can find, we can talk to one of the contacts. And then we're going to go to the Shrouded Lands. Where is the Shrouded Lands? Here. Above. All right. So from Elysir, we're going to go up to the Shrouded Lands. Got it. See? Makes sense. So it's easier for us to understand, visualize what's going on. I like having a map here. Setting information beginning on the western shore of the Mirlock Vale. This range of cliffs of the forest towers 8,000 feet above the surrounding landscape. The forest and hills stretch southward, covering the land. Elysir was a village on the southern coast of Gwyneth. The dock is small and well worn with age and neglect as the sea reclaims the man-made structures. A rocky beach leads to a quaint hamlet village, now uninhabited. The conglomeration of cottages that made up the town proper are in various stages of disarray, with rotting roofs and falling planks all around. A clear path leads through the town and into the forest beyond. Okay, so we have the maps. We've just looked at our map, so we don't need to look at this one. So the terrain is large, imposing trees makes up the forest that covers hundreds of miles of hills and flatland. Island of wildflowers cover the area, and the countryside is rife with wildlife of all kinds. Okay, good to know. The dappled light filters easily through the forest, even in heavily wooded areas. Okay. And here our objective in part 1 is learn Iceland's location in the Shrouded Lands. So let's go with our first contact. Okay. Scene A. Traveling to Herbaland's home. So it's in ruins. Elysir is in ruins, but there are still people living here. Traveling to Herbaland's home, they find his wife, Kaylin, in a frenzy. Herbaland was out in the woods. Let's write that, because that might be important in the future. Where's Herbaland? There. Kaylin. Alright, Kaylin. I think that's Herbaland's wife. Herbaland was out of the woods and should have been back hours ago. She begs for us to find him. After traveling for several hours, a large hill looms directly ahead. As the sun starts to set, this area seems darker than the surrounding forests. A corpse of dense trees sits at the foot of the hill. Low groans of distress seems to be coming from just inside the trees. Okay. There's a clearing here in the middle of dense trees on 3 sides. Okay. With a perception check, it reveals a small cave opening powered by twisted vines and roots. So is it like, are the groans coming from inside the trees or in the cave? Oh. I think it's in the trees. In the center of the trees. In the center of the trees. 4 mean locks are tormenting Herbaland, a male firbolg tied to a tree. Herbaland is slumped over, making low groans as he tries to cower away. I think not inside the tree, like inside, like the forest or the woods, right? That made me curious for a little bit. And Herbaland is slumped over, making low groans as he tries to cower away from the mean locks on either side of him. Mean locks. What are mean locks? Okay. Come on. Mean locks. Okay. They are fae that invoke terror and seek to destroy all that is good, innocent, and beautiful. These bipeds have the heads and claws of crustaceans, and they primarily live in forests, although they adapt well to urban and subterranean settings. And so they kind of look like, I forgot the big monster that looks like an insectoid with pincers. I have a miniature of that too, but this looks like a Fae version of that, and smaller. Ember Hulk, yes. Like a tiny version, like a smaller version of Ember Hulk with more spikes, a little bit more spikes. Yeah. So these things basically surrounding Herbalan, and this will become a combat encounter. There are basically recommendations here if you want to adjust the combat encounter, if you have a very strong party or a very weak party. And yeah, so the Meanlocks are small creatures covered with bristly black hairs, and they have pincers for hands and bulging eyes. What do they want? They only want to create more Meanlocks by capturing and terrorizing hapless creatures with horrifying telepathic images. After several hours, the victim transforms into a new Meanlock. Oh! So they capture and torture creatures with like horrifying telepathic images. And then after being exposed to that for several hours, that creature transforms into a Meanlock. Herbalan sounds like an MLM product. All right, that's interesting. But what do they know? They know very little of the surrounding world and don't care to know anything beyond their small corner. They ran into Iceland earlier. She resisted their fear attacks, and so they stole what they could from her, including an important looking note which one of them promptly ate. Okay. Okay. Tricks of the trade, we're not really gonna read into that. So after the combat, Herbalan was so what was Herbalan doing? He was just collecting herbs when the Meanlocks captured him. He only wants to go back to gathering herbs and fruits for a sick aunt and uncle. He knows that some of the best and most direct paths through the highlands. Herbalan was in this part of the forest because a kindly sprite, Sir Teak, basically, told him exactly where he could find best herbs, not realizing the danger posed by the Meanlocks. So let's include another NPC here, Sir Teak, and we'll know more about that person later. And then after that, why do we have two combat? Sorry. So we have playing the pillar, so you can fight the Meanlocks. You can do exploration or social. And then after that encounter, we get a potion of greater healing for successfully rescuing Herbalan. Okay. When slain, the Meanlocks slowly start dissolving into foul-smelling ichor. With a perception check, we notice that Iceland's partially digested writ in this ichor. While the name Iceland's Seward is legible, Lady Ordolf's signature has been destroyed. Oh, what's in that writ? If the party has already visited the other two parts in scene 1, a very grateful Herbalon gives the characters the quickest route to Iceland in part 2. Otherwise, Herbalon tells us that he doesn't know Iceland's location, but they should speak to Alice, Tenasar, or Emeranta, depending on which answer the characters choose. We go scene B or scene C. So Alice has a last name. Did we write the last name? Yeah, we did. So scene B. Just this feels like a long adventure. It doesn't feel like a 2-hour adventure. When approaching Alice's small cottage, they hear shouts for help from nearby. Snorts and the crackling wood hint at something large causing the woman stress. The door is ajar, but nobody is inside, as if the occupant expected to return shortly. We read this box text. Coming around a large grassy hill, you see an older human woman high up in the boughs of a huge tree. A couple of big, brawny, giant boars are attacking the tree in rage. It's a wonder the tree has survived this long. Alright, so again, it's gonna be another combat encounter. There are 2 giant boars that we have to fight. And let's see what else we have here. So Alice, what was she doing here? She was napping in the sun when strange sounds in the woodlands behind her home woke her. Though she investigated carefully, she was caught off guard by the furious boars. Yep. If all of a sudden, you're just minding your own business, boar comes out, not just 1, 2 boars comes out and starts attacking you. You know what? I will be surprised as well and get caught off guard as well, and we'll probably climb the tree as I try to escape these boars. So I will do the same thing as what Alice has been doing, or what she did. So what does she want? The boars are seriously angry, wanting to hurt something or somebody for the pain. Oh, they're in pain. Alice is innocent, but the boars don't really care. Why? What has happened to them? What do they know? Boars are simple creatures who know how to survive in the woodlands, usually care little about the affairs of 2-legged creatures that prowl their homeland. Something hurt one of them and they blindly assumed it was Alice. It was in fact Sir Teak, who has, this Teak creature again, was been driving them away from trampling a pixie hollow. Okay. So if we look, we do some perception check, we find several tiny arrows stuck into the tender parts of the feet of the boars. We can do some animal handling to kind of calm the boars long enough for us to remove the arrows, the tiny arrows that Teak kind of planted on these boars' feet, and we gain advantage on the checks by feeding the boars nuts and berries. Okay, that's nice. If the party thinks to ask Alice for a suggestion on where to find nuts and berries, she points them in the right direction. Okay, giving them advantage on the check. Once the arrows are removed, the boars stop attacking. So you kill the boars and eat them for later, or cook them for later, or you can just remove the arrows and let them be free. And if we are successful, then Alice gives us a potion of greater healing as well. Okay. And Alice will basically either tell us the location of Iceland or go to scene C as we go to our last contact, where we will go. The Dryad, Emeranta, lives near a steading owned by a clan of fey-blooded humans. So they have green eyes. We read yesterday like the folk who have like Fey ancestry usually have green eyes, right? So I'm assuming that these Fey-blooded humans have green eyes as well. The leader of the humans, Halwyn Davis. Okay. Halwyn Davis. Leader of the Fey-blooded humans in Elysir. Has set its eyes on the nearby grove and has been trying to make a deal with the Dryad for the past few weeks to no avail. In his anger and stubborn pride, Halwyn has planned something he might regret. A few hours of walking, you hear a loud wailing from a set of trees ahead of you. As you get closer, you see a thin, feminine form of a Dryad trapped partially in a tree that is covered in a tangle of thorny vines. A half-dozen Fey-blooded humans watch from the western edge of the wooded area. Okay? There are razor vines here. Where that... okay. That deals damage. And we go with Halwyn Davis. Okay. Joined by 5 family members. Halwyn's family has some dormant Fey blood in their ancestry. Okay. In order to remain on the land, they made this heritage known and swore fealty to High Lady Ordulf. Alright, so they are loyal to the High Lady of the Kingdom of Sarafel. Halwyn wants Emeranta to move her grove elsewhere so that the land can be cleared to grow more fruits and vegetables for his growing family. And Halwyn knows the following. The Dryad's tree was in the way of his plans to expand his fields, so Halwyn obtained the razor vine from a wandering trader. He placed it around the trees to irritate her into moving. Halwyn is unaware that Emeranta's life is tied to the tree. He thinks she's just being stubborn since he offered her another tree further away to live in, a big, beautiful chestnut. Halwyn bought the razor vine from a wandering Fey trader, let me guess, Teak? The trader assured him that it would make the Dryad relocate. The trader was being harassed by a sprite in the forest. Why would a sprite do that? You don't think the trader was an unseelie, do you? Oh, okay. So the trader was an unseelie Fey, and then Teak was kind of fighting off or quote-unquote harassing this unseelie Fey. Okay. So Emeranta is a shy and reclusive and usually watches any visitors to her grove from her tree, making sure that the visitors do no harm. The Dryad is weakened by the injury to her tree, and she needs the characters to destroy the razor vine without harming the tree. So if we do that, what do we get? What Halwyn asks is impossible. She just can't change trees like that because, again, she's basically connected to the tree. She can't leave her tree without taking damage from the vines. If Halwyn describes the trader, she recognizes him as an unseelie trickster who likes to cause mischief and chaos. Does that trader have a name? So we can either fight, do some exploration, or social about, making a deal with Davis or Halwyn about the Dryad situation. And once we're done with that, we I guess one of these 3 will give us the location of Iceland. And now we can move to part 2. Okay. Already halfway there. And so with the directions from either Herbalan, Alice, or Emeranta, we make our way to Iceland Seward's camp in the Shrouded Lands. Moving out of the southern highlands and into the Shrouded Lands, the area flattens into grassy moorlands. Herds of rot and wild drakes roam in the vast distances. In the morning hours, the land is covered in fog and has rolled off the nearby seas. The mist clings to the low-lying areas late in the day. Alright, so we must deliver our message to Iceland. That's our quest. And after 2 hours of traveling through these moorlands, the party sees a plume of smoke rising from behind a hill about a mile away. And we can follow the smoke. Alright. And on the sheltered side of a hill, you find a small camp. A pavilion tent stands facing a smoldering campfire. Trust.
Trust.
Yeah, trust, which is a framework. Okay. Trust up in rope. So like in a series of rope, like, okay. And staked to the ground is a sleeping folk paladin in plate armor. A high but stern voice seems to come from high above you. Trespassers! You trod upon the lands of Serifal. Begone from the realm of the Fae. And if they attack, the Fae remain invisible and respond in kind. If we attempt to communicate with the unseen voice, the Fae reveals themselves. Alright, so it's not Iceland that appears here. Who's here? A tiny sprite. Oh, okay. A tiny sprite dressed in gleaming armor, wielding a lance and riding a majestic yellow fairy dragon, pops into view. He's accompanied by 6 other sprites dressed in clothes the color of cinnamon, jade, and young moss, mimicking the tones of the countryside around them. They glare at you as they stay out of arm's reach, darting about. And, okay. This is the area that we're at. So, Iceland's camp, located in the lee of a small hill. Okay, but is she here? There's a alchemy jug at the pavilion tent. Okay. So, Sir Teak, which is a sprite, hovers above the party, above his trusty steed, Schnitzelfritz. Okay. And Teak is determined to protect this part of Gwynedd from foreign invaders, including humans like Iceland and the party. He wishes to play the role of a chivalrous knight. So, knight wannabe. Fey Knight. Fey Knight wannabe. Sprite. Fey wannabe. And then we have Schnitzelfritz, which is a yellow fairy dragon. Okay. The trusted yellow fairy dragon steed of Sir Teak. Okay. Teak has taken a call to war by Prince Aerith and the leaders of Serifal very seriously. He has taken the title of Sir, normally given to mortal knights. Sir Prince Aerith, from what I know, is the son of High Lady Ordulf. Okay. And Teak used his heart sight on Iceland and saw that she intended to bring more humans into the forest. Plus, she doesn't have a writ. The sprites reduce her to slumber with their arrows, but can't figure out how to drag her back to shore. Okay. So Iceland is here. Has been shot by numerous arrows by the sprites until she fell asleep. She's still alive, just tied up. Okay. What do they want? Iceland is awaiting correspondence from High Queen Kefre and a visit from Princess Tarlin. If she wakes up, she'll try to negotiate with the sprites as she doesn't want to cause conflict with the Fae or Sarfa. We have the writ, so we can give that to the sprites if they're looking for proof that she can stay here and Iceland can stay here. Iceland was sent to the Shrouded Lands to act as a point of liaison for Princess Tarlin, who is the ambassador of House Kendrick in the court. She did have a writ from Lady Siofra, but lost after having a run-in with the Meanlocks. And she doesn't know that it's been destroyed. So we have combat, exploration, and social here. Let's go with the social. Views himself as a noble knight who is defending his lands on behalf of his lord. His head is full of tales of romantic chivalry. This can be used to manipulate him. If he learns that Iceland is in communication with the bona fide princess, he leaps at the opportunity to impress such a noble charge and releases Iceland in exchange for an introduction. Okay. Of course, who doesn't want to be a knight of a princess, right? At first, Sir Teak insists that the party must leave Gwyneth immediately. He can be convinced to let the party stay if the party lets the sprite use hard sight. Okay. It's more mechanics. To no good, we can show our writ. And then, however, we can also show Iceland's writ if we got it. Okay. If Sir Teak can steal a possession from half the party members within the next minute, they must take Iceland and depart from Sarafal. If they prevent that, he will release Iceland and she can stay. Okay. To run this challenge, each party member must name an item in their possession that must... Alright, again, this is just more of an encounter. So we're gonna leave that. And after this, if the party is successful, Teak is the sprite of honor. The sprites untie Iceland and wake her up. And if Teak is successful, the party must break camp and take Iceland to the shore. Okay. And we also get an alchemy jug here, which we found in a while ago. So Princess to the rescue. Oh. After the challenge with Sir Teak and the sprites draw to a conclusion, Princess Tarlin Kendrick arrives at the camp. You hear the sound of horse hooves shortly before a rider trots into camp, giving you a few moments to prepare. A richly dressed folk woman with an elegant rapier dismounts and greets you as if she was expecting to find you in this camp. Tarlin Kendrick, folk human, introduces herself to the party and presents her signet ring as proof of her veracity. What happens next depends on how the party handled the sprite challenge. If they secured Iceland's release, Tarlin praises Sir Teak for taking his duties very seriously as a Fae guardian to the land. However, she has with her a new proclamation from Prince Aerith, High Lady Ordulf's son and heir. All right. That's what we want to confirm. High Lady. Oops. Son and heir. the ruler of Sarifal. The proclamation grants mortals, all non-Fae, permission to enter Sarifal, the Isle of Gwenet, as long as they make no effort to challenge or undermine the Fae rule of the island. Oh, so this is the start. This is where the rules in the Isle of Gwenet changes. So before, non-Fae are not really allowed, right? In the Isle of Gwenet, because it's under the rule of the Fae. But now, Lady Tarlin, who is kind of taking part like in the court of the Fae Kingdom of Sarifal, has this new proclamation that grants mortals, every non-Fae, permission to enter the kingdom as long as they make no effort to challenge or undermine the Fae rule of the island. So as long as they recognize that High Lady Ordulf is the ruler of the Isle of Gwenet, then they're free to stay here in this isle. Good to know. All right. So I guess that's our lore here. This is where the proclamation, lamation of granting non-Fae permission to enter Sarifal, as long as they make no effort to challenge or undermine the Fae rule of the Isle. Through Princess, how do you spell Tarlin? T-A-R. All right. Okay. So this is where it happened. This is where it changes. So if we defeated the sprites, then she's a bit aghast at the doing so, and she chastises us for endangering House Kendrick's goal of fostering peace with the Fae, because we're not supposed to harm the Fae. Okay. Before sharing the proclamation. If we lost, then shows Teak the proclamation from Prince Aerith and makes him anti-Iceland and let the party wake up. Okay. Development. If he's still alive, upon hearing that Tarlin is a bona fide princess, Teak, as any good chivalric knight would, immediately pledges his tiny sword in her defense. Tarlin is amused by the gesture and accepts him into her service. That she's human is unimportant to him now that she's been accepted by the rulers of Sarifal. Oh, so we have Tarlin gets a knight. So she, where is my NPCs? So Sir Teak, she's a sprite Fae Knight of Tarlin Kendrick. Nice. Okay. I'm right. So if you watch the, I don't know, if you watch the Castle of Skulls, I know there's an NPC there. It's kind of similar to this, like what's this? A folk royal with basically with a sprite with her. So who's copying who, right? In the story. You have to watch the stream tonight or morning for us here in the Philippines. to find out. And then after that, so we now have Sertik become a knight of Tyrell Kendrick. And after this, we can now give Aislinn the letter from Tiadric, and she gives them a seal of impression from her ring to recognize receipt. Tyrell has a number of letters that she needs returned to her mother, and ask us to carry them back to Tiadric. Sertik flitters around Princess Tyrell, making sure she's safe. He returns with her to Carador, the capital of Sarafel, when she heads back. The trip back to Kaer Morhen is uneventful but rainy. Tiadric is happy to see them and asks for their report and token of receipt and pays them as below. And then we get 40 gold pieces for that. If the message has been tampered, we only get paid half, which is fair. And when challenged on the mentions that he agreed to price, okay, no problem. Now, I want to know if, because Sertik was with like 5 other sprites, right? They're like a group of sprites, and Sertik was kind of the leader. So when Sertik pledges or swears allegiance to Tyrell, does she only get Sertik, or does she get like the whole squad? Right? Because that would be a cool NPC to have. So you have like a folk princess who can basically fight on her own, has like connections with the rulers of the Fae Kingdom here in the Moonshaes, and because she has connections with the Fae, she has like 6 sprites just surrounding her, kind of like if you watch Gundam, you know those Gundam mobile suits where those rotating like laser beam thingies, those rotating things that shoots laser beams and stuff, right? A fairy royal guard, yeah. I don't think he's a royal guard. Well, he's now a royal guard because he's protecting a princess. Yeah, so he's now a royal guard. So yeah, it's good. No, but I'm just thinking does she only get Sertik, or does she get Tyrell? Does she get like the whole squad? Because where was that? Where is that sprite challenge? 6 other. So there are 7 of them total. 6 other sprites. So everywhere she goes, she could just command like one sprite, scout over there, or go inside that house, see what's happening, go to that tavern or to that inn, see what's going on, send this message back to like the rulers of Sarafel, or send this message to my mother. That is a really awesome thing to have if you have like a squad of face sprites with you. There. And that is it. But since this is the last Moon 1 adventure, let's see the conclusion. What happens, right? Shortly after they meet with Tiadric for the 4th and final time, they receive a special invitation, to attend the court of High Queen Kefre at Kaer Morhen. And when they arrive at Kaer Morhen, this is what happens. Once at the castle, you are quickly escorted through various guard posts and waiting rooms until you arrive in the great hall of the keep. High Queen Kefre is there, seated on a modest throne, surrounded by many of the earls and jarls of the Moonshaes. Alright, so the earls are basically the rulers of the folk side, and then the jarls are basically the rulers on the side of the Northlanders. Okay. A courtier whispers in her ear and directs her attention to you. She smiles and addresses you directly. Ah, my couriers. Yes, mine. For it was my words that you have carried across the Moonshaes. You have done well. We shall overcome the slain yet. Please know that the Moonshaes have benefited from your service. You have our thanks. The Moonshaes has always relied on its heroes. The High Queen concludes with a smile. And if you feel up for it, Kefre can converse with the party for a bit more before she needs to return to planning the spring offensive. Oh, what's going on? Otherwise, the party is escorted from the room as the High Queen turns her attention to other matters. Such a public expression of thanks by the High Queen greatly raises the character's reputation in Kaer Morhen. For the next several days, the adventurers are the talk of the town and are toasted in local pubs. Are we knighted or no? And with such notoriety will come more opportunities for adventure, but those await for another day. And with this, we get a story award, Maskings of a Hero. And now we can read what that does. Okay. So we have Alice, one of our contacts in Elysir. Middle-aged recluse with a bit of distaste for people, especially crowds. Suspicious nature towards others. Alice is small with unkempt long brown hair, dark brown eyes, and sun-tanned skin. Okay. What does she want? To be left alone for the most part, but if visitors are calm and polite, she's willing to chat a bit. Okay, this is the only adventure she appeared. Kefre Kanta Kendrick, we read about that already. We know who she is. Iceland Seward is a knight in the service of House Kendrick. Okay, she's a knight of Kendrick then. I'm assuming more on the side of the High Queen since they worship the same deity. She was sent to Shrouded Lands to act as a point of liaison for Princess Taralyn, who is the ambassador of House Kendrick in the court. Iceland is awaiting correspondence from High Queen Kefre and a visit from Princess Taralyn. She's a charismatic leader. Iceland is a mature woman in her mid-30s with olive skin. She has dark brown hair and that she keeps woven into a thick braid. She has strong eyebrows and an intense gaze, as well as a number of scars that only add to her beauty. She wears ornate plate mail that signifies her rank, with a tabard over it showing the crown bearer of House Kendrick. Nice. And Taralyn has complete faith that the House Kendrick will lead the Moonshaes through the trials that currently challenge them. Iceland is the only means that High Queen Kefre has for communicating with Princess Taralyn. So I guess the tabard, the emblem of House Kendrick is a moorhound. I'm assuming this is a moorhound, which is a breed of dog that's found in the Moonshaes, and the crown because they're the High King is a Kendrick. Okay. I guess I should add that. That's important. Where are my notes? The emblem of House Kendrick is a moorhound facing left. Moorhound's head and neck facing left with a 3-point crown above the head. The emblem of House Kendrick is a moorhound's head and neck facing left with a 3-point crown above the head. Okay. So at least in the future, if I show this or I describe this in an adventure, people will know the lore, immediately recognize that and know that it's House Kendrick. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Emeranta is an ageless, athletic teenage woman with green hair, wow, and a pale white skin. Of course, she's a dryad. Shy, but loves to observe humans, endlessly fascinated by their behavior. If befriended, she can gush about weird behavior she has seen or ask questions about humans and their culture. And she just wants to find a human friend to talk with. But she heard all kinds of bad things about them. True. Humans are not the best. Be friends with, unfortunately. Halwyn Davis is a local farmer with an ever-expanding family. His middle-aged man, as stubborn as a mule, a bit prideful, and with a love for farming. Halwyn is a strong-looking man with short black hair, beard, and large callous hands, and a no-nonsense attitude. He can be a bit obtuse at times, and what he wants is to live comfortable life at old age and leaving a healthy, vibrant farm to his kids. Okay. Herbalon. All right. We're saying it wrong. Herbalon is a typical looking firbolg with long red hair, large beard, simple clothing. Herbalon loves to wander through the woodlands on his own, very outgoing and friendly to people. What he wants is to return to his wife and kids and enjoy the woodlands in peace. So none of these contacts died, which is good. That means we can use them in the future. Tyrlin, here we go. Some stuff about the Princess Antique. Tyrlin Kendrick is the eldest daughter of High Derek Kendrick and High Queen Kefre Amkantra Kendrick. She's 19 years old with wavy dark brown hair of the Kendricks but the blue eyes of her mother. Tyrlin was raised to be fierce and independent and above all her own person. She spent many summers on the coast and loves the sea. And during this time, she met many sea elves who live beneath the sea of the Moonshaes. All right, so she has sea elf friends. That's good to know, including the sea elf maid Firish Day. Is that? I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. Firish Day, Firish Day. Which one sounds better? Sea elf maid Firish Day. Firish Day. I think Firish Day sounds better. All right. And let's add that also. So Firish Day. A sea elf maid of Princess Tyrlin. Okay. Well, not the maid of Princess. And friend of Princess Tyrlin. You like Firish Day? But yeah, without more context, you could probably say whatever way. Firish Day. Firish Day kind of sounds like, it's fiery and like sounds strong. Yeah. Firish Day invokes more fear because of how you pronounce it, like, right? Firish invokes like a strong personality. So you want a strong maid or a scary maid? Which one? I have to choose. We don't really know about her, so yeah, no context. What else do we have? The two have been. Oh wait, whoa! We didn't read the next sentence. What's this? The two have been lovers for about a year now. Whoa, okay. Is this a sea elf maiden or a sea elf maid? I'm thinking maid, like housemaid. Is there a different meaning? I'm thinking it's maiden, not maid. Yeah, a maid can also mean a young woman, an unmarried young woman. So I think, yeah. Because the first thing that popped into my head is a sea elf under the sea in maid outfit. like a typical anime maid outfit. That's the first thing that popped into my head as I was typing this. And now I read the next sentence and it makes sense. So I guess she's not a maid, she's not a housemaid. She's a sea elf maiden and lover of Princess Tarlin. But this is great. All right, so we have that. So I hope we can read more about Firish Day in other adventures, so we know more about this relationship that's going on. And recently, her parents called upon her to serve the realm by being the ambassador of House Kendrick to the Serafal court at Carador. She reluctantly agreed. Her mother is pressuring her to romantically approach Prince Aerith to secure an alliance. Tarlin is unsure of this because of her feelings for Firish Day. This is the juicy relationship drama. Oh, so there's a love triangle going on here. Man, okay. So you have a folk princess who is in love with a sea elf, but her mother is telling her, you have responsibilities, you have to do this, and if we can strengthen the bond between the Fae, the Kingdom of Seraphil, and the Moonshae Isles, it's gonna be through the union of Prince Aerith and Princess Tarlin. Oh, right. Not arranged marriage versus actual romantic relationship. So it's like a typical love trope in medieval setting. Yeah, not a love triangle. Okay, so we have that. How am I gonna write that? I need this. So Tarlin is in love okay. Tarlin is being pressured by the High Queen to romantically approach Prince Aerith to secure an alliance. Tarlin is unsure of this because of her feelings for Firish Day. Okay. There. Save. Oops. Okay, there. Tarlin is fiercely devoted to the Moonshaes and is always seeking to better the realm. Oh no, I think this is gonna end in a heartbreak, because she's devoted to the Moonshaes. She would do anything for the Moonshaes. Eternal optimist Taryn tries to always see the positive side of people and events. She's quick with a compliment or a kind word. So she appeared here in Moon-1-5. She'll appear in Moon-14-1. Hopefully we can find more about Fire's Day and 14-1. I hope she's there. I hope we can remember that, because this is gonna be like in March or April. I think that's the time that we're gonna be in Moon 14, right? We're only in Moon 1, so this is gonna take a while. Teak is an enthusiastic sprite who sees himself as the protector of the shrouded lands of Gwyneth. Okay, so initially he is the protector of the shrouded lands. Also a protector of the shrouded lands of Gwyneth. Okay. His name and skin color both come from the tree of the same name. Okay, his hair is dark auburn. His glamour has him wearing gleaming armor. I know this for some reason, which I can't tell yet. But yeah, I have this information already. Teak has become enamored with stories of chivalric knights and seeks to emulate their code of valor, loyalty, piety, and romance. All right, not romance. Romance. I can't say it right for some reason. Romance. There you go. Not being particularly religious, he has interrupted the part of the code as charity. Lately, he has insisted being addressed with the title Sir, which is customary for knights. Teak is good friends with Schnitzelfritz, which is a yellow fairy dragon, and that has agreed to serve as Teak's trusty steed on his adventures. So he's a sprite that can fly, that rides a flying fairy dragon. That's awesome. Teak attempts to emulate the ways of a chivalric knight that he's heard about. Teak doesn't understand many of the ways of human, makes giant assumptions. So technically, at the start, Teak may not be a knight, right? He just wants to be a knight. He's pretending like he likes to be called Sir. He acts like a knight, but technically is not a knight. But after meeting Princess Taryn and agreeing to have Teak serve as his quote-unquote guardian, I think that's when Teak was actually knighted and became an official knight, right? Okay. Awesome. Okay. And then we have Theodric. Something fun about assuming things other cultures as an NPC. Yeah, right. That's one of the fun things, right? And see, I guess that's a double-edged sword, right? And I can't really put my mind on which one I would side on, because you have this information and it's incomplete, so you assume what their culture will be like, right? Which is part of the fun of being a dungeon master, because you can basically expand on the lore, expand on the culture of from which this particular NPC came from, right? So you get to fill that up. You get to write all those things, which is, part of your world building if you're a dungeon master. But then, if these NPCs are written based from real life culture, and you start assuming stuff, then it becomes problematic, right? Which shouldn't be. But then it becomes a problem for people, right? So what's a good example here? So if I create a knight, a Fey knight in the Moonshaes that is based, inspired from Filipino culture, for example, right? Because I'm exposed to Filipino culture because this is where I live. I'm Filipino. I write the stuff, all right, and I put the name, like a name that is kind of based on Philippine like myth and stuff, right? And then, of course, I'm not gonna be able to write all the info about that NPC. I'm trying to create an NPC inspired by a Filipino folklore story, and that's where I based my character from, or my NPC from, when I'm writing. And then you have this dungeon master who starts, okay, I got this NPC. Let me doesn't really have a lot of information, so let me expand on that. This character sounds interesting, right? Sounds interesting. So but doesn't have complete information because the author didn't write a lot of things about that NPC. So that dungeon master will try to expand, add more lore, add backstory and stuff, and then start saying that this is a, a Viking with adds a Viking background, for example, likes to raid settlements and stuff, things like that, and basically ignores the the inspiration for how that NPC was created, which again you cannot blame the dungeon master because he did not know. There's a possibility that he did not know that you were inspired from real life folklore or stories or whatever, right? So it's not gonna be his fault. But if you start to stream that, it comes out in public, you play it in a setting with an audience, there's an expectation that you will actually do research that these NPCs was created with this real life influence, or from influence from real life culture. So that is the problem, right? Or is it a problem or not really a problem? It's just it's always nice to give the adventurers a chance to say something about their cultures if they want to add something. But yeah, so that's the thing. That's my concern. So if you're in a private game, you have a session 0, set expectation. This is what you're gonna do. That shouldn't be a problem. But if it becomes like a public game, like everyone has access to what you're doing, what you're running, what you're writing, then I think there should be at least due diligence in researching about what's this and what's that. That's why we're doing this, right? That's why we're doing research, because we want to make sure we're following the right lore. And if these things are heavily influenced by Celtic lore, by like Welsh culture, we need to find that out with Vikings, dwarves, giants, and all that stuff, right? So that's why we're doing this. And yeah, I'm gonna end it there because I don't know how to follow up after that. But something like that is forgivable, but people who just rip stuff out of cultures without any research or respect, that's not forgivable. Okay. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. When are you supposed to show respect, right? Because if you're a dungeon master, you see Theadric glitter gold, and if it's influenced by some real life culture, you don't know that because it's not written here. You may see that he's dressed like from some real life, location country or culture or group of people, but you cannot assume that, right? And as a dungeon master, you don't really have all the information there with you. So what I'm saying is, if it's a private game, you have your players, you can basically do whatever you want, right? If you want to, again, if you want to make fun of stuff, whatever, as long as it's your game, it's private, that's how you want to play your game, that's all up to you. All right, not gonna kink shame you and doing whatever you want to do. But if it becomes public and it starts to enforce people to do the same thing, even though they don't intend to do that, like, you know, something negative, they just assume that, all right, wearing this, so it's probably from here, from there, whatever. He has this mustache, long hair with a circlet on his forehead, so it's probably from this country and acts this way. Then that might be a problem if it's done in public. So that's what I'm thinking. All right. I'm not sure. Again, I'm just throwing everything that's in my head. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it up for argument? Yes. But that's what I have. It's all about whether you were doing it on purpose or not, in my opinion. Ignorance is forgivable as long as you're willing to learn. It's fine. Is it really? Is ignorance forgivable in this day and age in the internet? Right? Because I've seen a lot of people get canceled for being ignorant. Like, they do stupid stuff and then they get canceled. And then they just say, I didn't know that it's like this, it's like that. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen again. I will show respect to this and that in the future. But I don't know. In this day and age, you make one stupid mistake and you're gone, right? And being ignorant is not an excuse to be forgiven. But I don't know. But again, we're veering away from the adventure. That's my what do you call this? I even forgot what I was saying, but that's my 2 cents for today. We'll see how other people react to that. If you have something about it, something you can add, if you think everything I said is false, feel free to let me know. Am I being ignorant? Am I supposed to get away for being ignorant? Let me know. Isle of Moray, we have that. This is where we started. The map of Gwyneth. The culture of the folk, which we read already. All good with us on this part. And Gwyneth overview. Okay, this one is important. Overview can be found in this adventure. Overview of Gwyneth. There you go. There we go. Only if you don't own up to your mistakes. People get canceled because they double down and not apologize and learn. Yeah. I can't really comment on that because I've seen other things. I don't know who's right or who's wrong. But yeah. Going back. Extracting more lore after my hot take. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. That's my hot take for today. Going back to Gwyneth. Gwyneth overview. Once the heartland of the folk, Gwyneth was conquered by the Fae when the realm of Seraphil returned from the Feywild 100 years ago, as I will mention above. The power of the Earth Mother is strongest here, even as dark fae lurk in the shadows. So the capital is Carador, and also Cair Corwell for the folk. Okay, because in Cair Corwell, like in the books, the first trilogy, that's where like the setting is in Cair Corwell. Or at least the first book, yeah. Population, wow, that's a lot of people. Eldrin, Fae, humans, okay. So we have autocracy with High Lady Ordulf. How is that? Let's read how like an autocratic government works so that we know how to approach this. So it's one person with absolute power. It's different from is it the same for like monarchy and how's federal government? There are several states form a unity, remain independent of internal affairs. Okay. So in Gwyneth, it's just High Lady Ordulf. That's it. All right. But we have the Lachey, and High Lady Ordulf is a Lachey too. All right. I hope that we get other like an overview for other islands as well. Religion, so Earth Mother, Liwir is what's this? Like the elves here in the Moonshaes, they're kind of like high elves. Monarchy usually has a king and oftentimes invokes divine right. Autocracy usually just means centralized power, usually in the form of a dictator or very tight government. Okay. Isn't it the same? I mean, yeah, you don't call a king a dictator, but they're basically a king can run a very tight government and kingdom, right? Zara, do we have any? I'm just asking for experts, right? I'm just confused on that part. Contrast a democracy where the power is the power of the voters. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that I know. But the autocracy and monarchy, it's like you have the king, or yeah, whoever's the ruler. Autocracy, you also have a ruler, like, but it's which basically has like the full power, right? So they can do whatever they want. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm getting confused. So, anyway, culture. So we have. All right. This is fun for us. So Gwyneth is an island in contention between Fae and Mortal, with the Fae having the upper hand. So we have the Eladrins. The Eladrins, ball size might have some interesting specific, any political science student here right now who knows the answer to our questions. But anyway, going back, Eladrins. So the Fae Kingdom of Sarafel is primarily composed of Eladrins and ruled by High Lady Ordulf and her noble Eladrin the Lachey. Okay. So the nobles are called the Lachey. All right. We need to change what we wrote here. The nobles. And they are Eladrins. And then you have the folk. The remaining folk in the island have pledged fealty to Sarafel and High Lady Ordulf. wow, you changed your allegiance from the High King Kendrick, a generations of heroes. Now you turned that away and swore loyalty to the High Lady Ordov because she now rules the land. Okay. And then you have the Silly Fae. Not all Fae and Seraphil are Eladrin, and the Forest echo with their laughter. And then you have the Unsilly Fae, the Dark Fae, dwell in Winter Glen and are ruled by Orphania, the Mist Hag. Okay, so let's look at our map, and let's kind of zoom out a little bit. So we have the Isle of Gwynedd. No, let me move here. And the capital of Gwynedd for... Oh, where did it go? There you go. For the Fae, it's Carador here at the Mirlock Lake. Okay. And for the folk, it is Caer Corwell right here. And like the books, this place is very important as well. And then you have the Unsilly Fae, which resides here in Winter Glen, headed by a Miss Hag called Orphania. Okay. So, how do you explain this? So, Gwynedd initially had Fae settlers, which created the Kingdom of Seraphil. But then something happened, and they kind of phased out and went back to the Feywild. And when they went back to the Feywild, you have human settlers come in, which are the folk. And they live here. And they start to build, cities, settlements, all that stuff. And then 100 years ago or so, the Kingdom of Seraphil, the people of the Kingdom of Seraphil went back to the material plane, went back here to the Isle of Gwynedd. And that the city of Carador rose back up from the Mirlock Lake. It came out again. And then when they came back, they said, you know what? This is our island. This is our kingdom. Every non-Fae creature, get out. And so there was war. There was a war between the folk and the Fae. And the Fae won. And they were able to drive out all the non-Fae people here in Gwynedd. And it was a scary thing because if they were able to defeat the folk, what stops them from conquering the whole Moonshae Isles? How come it's the humans, the folk, who rules the Moonshae Isles and not the Fae if they're super strong, right? But that's because the Fae, when they conquered the Isle of Gwynedd, they said, all right, stop. We'll stop here. We just want our island back. That's it. And once we have it back, we don't really care what you do with the other islands. We just want our little spot right here. So that's what happened. And time passed in that 100 years. Nobody's allowed to, no non-Fae creatures allowed to be here at Gwynedd, even trade with Fae creatures here in Gwynedd. And then we have a new proclamation which was revealed here in this adventure that, hey, non-Fae creatures can now stay here, can live here, as long as they swear allegiance to our ruler, High Lady Ordov. And that's what happened. And that's probably because of Princess Tyrelyn's influence. Who knows? But that's now, that's what has happened now. And now you get more folk kind of going back here, or because, this is their home before the Fae came back, or there were just some folk who were in hiding all this time, and now they can come out and in the open and say that, all right, I can stay here now because of this new proclamation that non-Fae creatures can now stay and live here in Gwinnett. And now they're starting to rebuild. That's what I know. So that's what has happened so far. Geographical features. So we have aspen height, low mountains marked by gray stands of aspen trees that grow on their slopes. What does aspen tree look like? An aspen tree. Oh, these like yellow leaves and like white trunks are. Oh, okay. That look pretty. And aspen height is right there. All right. Right here. And then we have Black Mountains, named for the large amounts of dark shale present. These mountains are treacherous and sheer, okay? And then Cambro Mountains, once home to the dwarves. These mountains are rich in ore. Corwell Firth, that's where the area where Elisir is at, right? A long, narrow inlet from the Sea of Moonshae that gives access deep into the isle. Cair Corwell sits at its head. Daffyd Heights, a broken ridge that rises from Lyrat Forest. It's known home of giants. So we have giants here in Gwinnett. Okay. Daffyd Heights, a broken ridge. Oh, sorry, we read that. Dweevac Salt. I'm thinking it's Dweevac Salt. A remnant of an ancient bay that's dried up into a densely packed salt flat. Okay. Fens of the Fallen, commonly flooded by the Mirlock. The fens hide the corpses of many who got lost trying to enter Senoria, and which I always mistake with Senora. It's Senoria. And in the Highlands, a long, low ridge that bars entry to the Mirlock Vale. Are windswept and stark and riddled with twisting canyons. All right. Oh, there's a lot of places. Lyrat Forest, a vast and wild forest that holds much game and many monsters. We have Kimble Moor, vast moor at the edge of the folkland. It's now overrun with wild sheep. Merrig peatlands. These extensive marshlands are renowned for their peat. Yay, we know what peat is. We know what it's used for. And Merrig peatland. Oh, yeah. So Mirlock, the dark and cold waters of this large lake hold many secrets. Carador rose from its depth to herald Saraphel's return. Yeah. And the Shrouded Lands, fog gets trapped here between the Highlands and Merrig peatlands. Senoria, the homeland of the Lure Elves, who cleverly and vigilantly guard all approaches. Like now, so the first ones to arrive are the Lachey, and then with the Kingdom of Seraphil, like with the other Fae. And then the elves, the Lure Elves, migrated and settled here after. This is before the folk. And the Lure was actually welcomed by the Lachey, and the Fae was here first in the Moonshae Isles. And they just really want to be alone. And so they got like one spot in Gwinnett, which is Senoria, and that's it. They just want to be there. Like, leave us be. You do whatever you want. We just stay here. That's it. And then you have Winter Glen, which is a thick, dense, and enormous pine forest in which lurk many dark fae. Okay. Important sites: the sacred grove of the Earth Mother. This moon well is tended by the Great Druid of Gwyneth, which is kind of like the Great Druid of Gwyneth is kind of like the leader of all the Great Druids that guards the other moon wells in the Moonshae Isles. They technically have like the same rank, but the one in Gwyneth is kind of like what do you call this? Unofficially has a higher rank than the others. Right. Settlements. So Cair Corwell, the ancestral home of the Kendricks. Again, in the books, this is like the setting. Cair Corwell was overrun by the Fae, and the Eladrin left it in ruins for decades. Chrysalis is the soul city of the Lure Elves, and it's beautiful and hidden behind a veil of illusions. As I said, just leave the lures alone. Citadel Umbra is an unseelie citadel built atop the crossings of the Feywild and the Shadowfell. Hyokatal and Tetauta. I'm probably mispronouncing that. These two villages are populated by Masticans, invited here by the Cat Lord. They quickly accepted Fey rule. Okay. And then you have Carador, the glistening capital city of Sarifal. Carador is the seat of power for High Lady Ordulf and the Eladrin, which are the Lachey. It rises from the Murloc. And then Storad, this village is built around the restored ruins of an ancient salt mine. The Northlander population vows fealty to Sarifal. Oh, we have more. Oh, man. We have more. Let me read that. Like, these are like the pages that you want to take out if you're like making a campaign in the Moonshaes, right? So you get these adventures, and then you want to make your own campaign. You get these pages. This is the only page I need. Okay, and then I need some extra lore. I read the adventure. That's it. But this is this is the meat. This is the patty, and that lore burger. You have, and then like everything else, like the drama between Princess Tarlin and the Moon Elf maiden is just like the onions and tomatoes, slices of tomatoes. That's it. Okay. But this is the good stuff. Okay, so we know that we can find overview of Sarifal here in this adventure, which is good. I think Eric Mengi did a great job of having this here. Because if we want to learn more about the Moonshaes, then we have these appendices that we can use as reference, right? The thing here is, if you're running this adventure, are you actually going to give these pages to the players or not? Right? Or is this just going to be like DM knowledge? And just provide whatever information as needed. Right. So as you run this adventure, the party may come in contact with many members of the Eladrin Kingdom of Sarifal. The appendix gives you an overview of the culture of the Fey Kingdom of the Moonshaes. Okay. The Eladrin are the predominant fairy present in Sarifal. They appear as tall, beautiful, elk-like beings with elongated ears. They associate with different seasons and take a form to match. Right. So that's basically what they look like. Infused with fairy, they are primal, not divine. The Eladrin of Sarifal don't worship the Seldarin and have little affinity to Arvandor. They don't long to end their cycle of rebirth and rejoin Corellian. Rather, they believe that they meld with the Feywild when they reincarnate, and that they will eventually rise to become an archfey through a series of millennia-long incarnations. Okay. All right. That's a good belief to have. So, I mean, and that takes like a long time for it to happen. Because again, these are like these Eladrins live in a long, because they're Eladrins are the elves in the Feywild. Like these are the elves that you see in the Feywild. So I forgot which book was it, but they live longer than the ones in the material plane. And if they die, they feel like they get reincarnated. They believe that they will get reincarnated as they meld back into the Feywild. And then it's going to be a long process again. And then it happens again until you win the gotcha and become an archfey. Right? After several reincarnations. But that is a long, long process. Okay. Eladrin and the elves. Most Eladrin of Seraphil trade haughtiness for kindness toward their elf cousins, knowing that many elves have never felt the ecstasies of life amid the Fae. Yeah, they don't even view the Drow with distaste, as the Eladrin aren't beholden to the Seldrin, so they don't care. They're like the Feywild elves. So Drows, wood elves, high elves. Why do you have like those distinctions of elves here in the material plane? Ruled by immortals. Seraphil is ruled by the Moonshae. Powerful, enigmatic, they are the greatest of the primal elves. Just one step below the spirits that became the Seldarin. Oh wow! So these are like really, really, really powerful Fae creatures. Powerful elves rather. And the Eladrin defer to the rulership of the Moonshae. And the mood and traits of these powerful creatures influences the Eladrin. Alright. A varied Feyland. The Fey denizens of Seraphil are many and varied. Most populous being the countless varieties of fairies, pixies, sprites, and other diminutive Fae. In spite of that, the Eladrin dominate the realm through their strength, wisdom, and that magical might. The other Fae defer to them. So you have the Luir elves here in Gwynedd, which is kind of like the high elves. And then you have the Eladrins of the kingdom of Seraphil. And then you have the Moonshae elves, which are like super, super powerful and like almost immortal like those elves, like the main elves that you see in Lord of the Rings, right? Not the Rings of Power. But yeah, sure. I like the Rings of Power, so I'm gonna get hate now when I said that. I enjoyed it. Anyway, going back. Cultural traits. Creatures of passion. Eladrin are ruled by their emotions. No one loves or falls out of love more passionately than them. They feel sorrow and grief to their very core. They are moved to tears by a piece of art. Oh man, it must be nice to give them. You give them like a Mona Lisa painting or like a Picasso painting, and then just they put it in their castle or their fortress or wherever they live, and then just stare at it for like days. And they especially love beauty and seek to surround themselves at all times. Fickle and vain, Eladrin are known for their fickleness. Many of them will change their minds on the spur of the moment without giving reasons. They are very susceptible to flattery and adulation, especially if it's done artfully. Shifting but never changing. Eladrin are tied to the Phalanx. So these are more like focused on Eladrins of the Seraphil. which is a land of potential, of stories of what could be. Existing outside of time, change is difficult in the Feywild, and the Fey dwell in their cyclical stories for eternity. That is impossible there because anything that dies is reincarnated anew. To change, the Eldrin must make traverse to the passing world, or what they call the material plane. Okay. Only in the material plane can the Eldrin die or make true lasting change. Oh, so if an Eladrin is actually in the Feywild, they don't die. Okay. Exposure to the... Oh, what happened? Exposure to the passing world has a price, as it weakens the immortality of the Eladrin. The longer they remain in contact with the material plane, the more time affects them. Too much exposure and they will find themselves mortal. Okay, so I think that's why... I think I read it. High Lady Ordalf... There's a prophecy of High Lady Ordalf dying in the material plane. And that's why they shifted the whole kingdom of Seraphil back to the Feywild. But then I guess she's now in the acceptance stage of that prophecy. Like, if it happens, it happens. And so they went back, like 100 years ago, they went back here. And you know what? Lady Ordalf was like, bring it on. That's it. Free yet bound. The Eladrin of Seraphil are a chaotic people, but they intensely cling to a number of traditions. What do we have? Gift for a gift. The Eladrin are very mindful of gifts, so these are very good things that you can do in your campaign. If they meet like an Eladrin of Gwyneth, an Eldrin are very mindful of gifts. When a gift is given, it must be recognized and reciprocated with another gift of equal value. To refuse a gift may greatly insult the Fae. Furthermore, you can accept a gift unknowingly or without the intention to accept. Promises are kept. While capricious, Eladrin keep their promises once given. Promises are very important to the Fae, and they always keep their promises, no matter how awful and far-reaching the consequences. And lastly, the rule of hospitality. To invite someone into your home is a precious gift that should be reciprocated with a host gift upon arrival. The host should protect and see to the comfort of guests, while guests should respect their hosts and the host's household. And that is what we have here. That's a lot of stuff, mostly centered on the Eladrins of Seraphil. But still good, nonetheless. And then after that, there's the notes. And Masking of a Hero Story Award. You have been recognized and publicly thanked by High Queen Kefre Amkantra Kendrick for service to the Moonshaes. The people of the Moonshaes know that you have the makings of a hero and may call upon you for more heroic deeds in the future. And after that, Dungeon Master Tips. And that's the last page. And we're done. That's it. We're good. We did it. We did it, everyone. We are done with Moon 1 series. We have read Moon 1 to Moon 5. We know what happened. We got some notes. We learned some lore. We got some appendices with some overviews of some locations and some cultures, kingdoms, all that stuff. Very fun stuff we have here. And it feels like we just accomplished something. It feels like I accomplished something. So now we're good. If anybody asks us, some of the things that happened in Moon 1-5, like the spell book, battle axe, Darrow Stomper, Poppy, Captain Poppy Logan, and the Shantu and the crew, which is all like her kids. What else do we have? Like the tunnel, the Dwarven tunnel from Gwyneth to Alaron. That the High King has been basically held captive. Everybody else got exiled in Moray. What else did we do there? Flamstered is still alive, still out, right? And yeah. So a lot of things have happened in Moon 1 series, and that's just the intro. Those are just the intro adventures. And the Rising Shadows go from Moon 1 series to Moon 20. So each one of those numbers have like a trilogy or so of adventures. So our next project now is to go to Moon 2. We've already read Moon 2-1 in our previous stream. We already did this. So our next adventure that we will read is, and we know how scary this is, like the Black Blood tribe is still alive, very powerful, and still evil. So that's why it's hard to imagine that right now, like the base of operations is happening in Kaer Morhen after what has happened here in Moon 2-1. Like, I'm hoping that the Black Blood tribe threat is gonna be dealt with in some of the adventures before, like in future adventures, because yeah, seeing that in Moon 1-5 everybody is in Kaer Morhen, like, yo, are you seriously gonna stay there? If the lycanthropes attack again, all the leaders of, like, all important leaders of the Moonshae Isles will be gone. That's it. So let's see what will happen with the Black Blood tribes. But yeah, we're gonna be here. The next stream. So tomorrow I have a game I have a D&D game, and it conflicts with our stream schedule. So that means tomorrow we will not have a stream, Wednesday. But come Thursday, which is our last day of doing Lore Academia for the week. We do this every Mondays to Thursday. Come Thursday, which is our next stream, we will read Moon 2-2, which is the Army of the Unseen, which is written by my new favorite author and my co-storyline coordinator for the Moonshae Isles, Savannah Houston McIntyre. So I'm excited. I'm excited to read it. And that's gonna happen on Saturday. Oh, not Saturday, on Thursday. And yeah, hope we get some really cool stuff there. Yeah. So yep, that is it for today. I'm liking my new notepad so far. I'm excited to fill like the folders with notes and everything. I just hope that I'm able to be able to format it well and make sure that they're all in order and stuff. So let's see. We're probably gonna do like some 5S or 6 Sigma on this thing. Make sure that they're easily we can get the information that we need when we need it right away, as soon as possible, right? So I would structure it a little more, just add subfolders for characters, places, and stuff, and have your note files for each. Yeah, but I don't want to have every time we see a character, I open a notepad, and then for places, we'll see. I want to check it by storylines. But we'll check. All right, we'll see what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, we'll learn along the way. Yeah. But again, thank you for recommending this software. That's what we're using now. And that's it. That is it for us for today. Thank you for staying. For those who were able to stay, I hope you enjoyed our read through for the Moon 1 series. We are done. We're now moving to the next part, Moon 2 series. Right? And we've done the first part of the first adventure of Moon 2-1. So we only have like, let's see, I think it's a trilogy. Yeah, so we only have 2 adventures left. So we're only going to read 2 adventures for the Moon 2 series. And then after that, we're good. And then we can go to Moon 3, Moon 4, Moon 5 until we get to Moon 20. And yes, the Sage's Compendium grows. And let's look at the story path again. Let me look at my view and then here. So we're at Moon. We read Moon 1-1. And then we went to like the feet of the dragon. Where the feet is at. That's Moon 1-2 to Moon 1-5. That's what we did. And now we're moving back just above the right wing of the dragon. We're going back to Moon 2. And then we're going to go Moon 3, Moon 4, Moon 5. And then just go from there until we get like to the bottom, which is Moon 20. Hey, Grail, thank you for the follow. All right. And yeah, that's how it's. How long it will take for us to finish this, who knows? And if we get tired of reading Rising Shadow Adventures, we'll take a break and read other documents, and then go back once we're ready. But again, the goal here is to become master lore sages of the Moonshae Isles. That's it. Once that happens, and if I'm hopefully I'm a Twitch affiliate by that time, we'll have an emote, or I don't know, like an icon for those who were actually here during those times, just to indicate that you're like master sages or something. I'll figure things out, or figure something out for that. But that's it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying. Thank you for being with me through reading Moon 1 series. Again, no stream tomorrow. The next stream that we'll have will be on Thursday. Suggestion poll on Discord. Yeah, we'll have that, but that will happen in a far future, not now. All right, so now I'm gonna figure out how to give moderator powers to some folks who are volunteering to become moderators here. And that's it. Thank you everyone for staying. Again, my name is Paul Gabat, DMPaulG, and you can follow me on Twitter. YouTube is where we're gonna upload the VODs once they're gone, and on Twitch and on Discord. Feel free to join us if you want to talk about some stuff in Lore Academia, my hot takes, whatever. Feel free to join. Please don't spam any, I don't know, like products or something, or crypto, whatever. Please don't. And yeah, that's it. Or on Facebook, if you're still on Facebook, feel free to follow my page there as well. And that's it. See you Thursday. Bye, sages. Peace.